Hi everyone, my name is Duarte and I'm a machine learning engineer here at Lotus Labs. And today I want to showcase you a product that we have been building that allows the users to chat and get informations and visualizations from their own data. If you want tailored projects for your AI application, please contact us. And if you love machine learning like we do here at Lotus Labs, please click the like and the subscribe button. We are going to showcase tutorials on AI, machine learning, agents, and other very interesting topics in the future. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy this. Today, I want to show you a project that we have been working on here at Lotus Labs. And this is a project that allows you to chat with your own data and get live visualizations. Okay. And so you can go here and upload your file. And then you are prompted to, if you want to submit more information about that file. The idea of this is that more often than not, when you're working and you have a specific data set from your company, the columns are not very explicit. Sometimes there are a lot of nuances that typically an LLM or even a data scientist or a data analyst would not know beforehand unless you specify that. So typically how these things come up is that you provide the data and then you explain what that data is and what each column is and what are the implications. And that way a team of data scientists can analyze it and create the models and provide you with the information that you need. After filling this, then this will be evaluated with an AI model. Okay, so the AI model already will construct its own documentation and it comprehends already the file, but it will use this information that you provide to augment that documentation and to make sure that the documentation is comprehensive. And that way, when you're chatting with the data, these models that you are talking to, they always know what the file purpose is because it has that documentation in the backend that the LLMs and the agents can connect to. So I just uploaded a Pokemon file. Okay, let me show you how it looks. So we have the first column, which is the Pokédex number, and we see that we have sometimes duplicated values because these are different alternative versions of the base version of the Pokemon. Okay, and we have both legendary and this is a dummy variable, which is true or false. Okay, based if it's legendary or not. And then we have here the total column is the sum of all of these 6 columns here, which are the stats. And then we have the type of the Pokemon and the secondary type of the Pokemon. And this one doesn't have no values, but this one can have empty values, as we can see. And we have on total 800 Pokemons. Okay, and 721 Pokemons if we don't count for the alternative versions. Okay, so this is how the dataset looks. It's very simple, and I'm going to upload here and document this for you to see how this application works. On the Pokédex number, I said that it's a unique identification number assigned to each Pokemon, and then it says it can have duplicate values due to alternative versions of the same base Pokemon. Okay, so yeah, I'm explaining that. And I'm saying, and I'm also going to say, if there are alternative versions, then these will always follow the base Pokemon. And therefore, there will be duplicated or repeated Pokédex numbers. And the first number that appears will be the base Pokemon version, and the following will be the alternative versions. Okay, just so I explain exactly what the format. So now I'm going to continue and populate the remaining ones. If you feel very confident, you can just skip and just generate an automatic documentation from the model. So when you click here, it would skip everything and it would just generate a documentation automatically from what the model perceives that the data looks like, and would try to comprehend the data format. But of course, it's always better if you, has a proprietary of this data, you know exactly what this data is. So it's better for you to tell to the model what it is, right? And that way you are certain that you are providing all the relevant information. And that's also one thing when the model is doing this documentation. I'm okay, so I filled everything. Now I'm going to click submit. And when the model is creating this documentation, it takes more relevance. So it might have a formed opinion on something, but it's going to take more relevance to what you describe, because if you wrote about it, then and you are the one uploading the data, you know more than the model about it. So it's going to construct this aggregate documentation based on the metadata from the file and some values that it observes, and tries to comprehend that, and it will use this information that you pass to create a very well and thought out documentation. Okay. And afterwards, you can also delete the file if you want. We don't want to do that right now. Okay. You see here that's generating the documentation for the Pokemon.csv and with user context. Okay. And after this takes a little bit, of course, and after it generates the documentation, you will be able to read through it, what documentation it generated, and you can add it out and see if you agree with everything. And here it is exactly, and you can see if you agree with everything that that it placed, and you can correct, and you can even change and say and add something else. And yeah, and this will be the documentation that it saved. We can look how it looks. This looks. So it detected a CSV file with 100 with 800 rows and 13 columns. Okay, and this is the encoding, the file size, and then we have a summary. This dataset contains comprehensive information about Pokemon species from the Pokemon franchise, spanning multiple generations and including both standard forms and alternative versions. Okay, so it's explaining what this dataset is. So this is the data overview section. Then data granularity. Each row represents a single Pokemon form, which may include alternative or special forms of base Pokemons. This means that the dataset can have multiple entries with the same Pokédex number, but differing in attributes. And then we have here a column dictionary describing what each column is and example values. Okay. And it says it has high cardinality, this column. Then this is the names. It has a description. And actually it picked up, but also between alternative versions, example Charizard Mega and Charizard. Okay, so it picked up these versions. And yeah, type 2 can have, this allows for dual typing, which are Pokemons that have dual types. Okay. Many Pokemons have a blank or null value for this column. Okay, so it detected that perfectly. And it detected that it contains 386 missing values out of 800. Okay, and it has these examples from the preview. And yeah, it does this for all the columns, and then gives an overall data quality assessment and potential use cases also for analysis and pre-processing recommendations. And then it has the top 20 rows, the 20 rows that appears on top. Okay, so it has an overview of the data. So I like this documentation. I think it's very comprehensive and looks good. So let's confirm and save. If I wanted to edit this and in the future, or just look at it, I can click here and this will show up again, and we can just add it here if we want, and then we just confirm and save, and this will be saved again. And yeah, now we can chat with our model. So let's ask something, for example, show me, or what are the top 5 legendary Pokemons versus the top 5 non-legendary Pokemons. or show me, or let's do something like that. So it's more ambiguous to see how it comes up with what is the. So the way this works is that we are talking with an agentic workflow. So we have this question is first passed to a routing agent, and the routing agent will define and create the workflow that will happen in the backend to pre-process this question and give you the most accurate and the best answer it can. And we see here the answer that we got. So the top 5 legendary Pokemons by total base stats are all Mega or Primal forms. So it detected they are alternate versions. Okay, and we see here a table of the top 5 legendary and the top 5 non-legendary. Okay, and there are 65 legendary Pokemons and 735 non-legendaries. And show it a cool plot where we see the total stats plotted for the legendaries, the top 5 legendaries, and the top 5 non-legendaries. So we see that typically legendary Pokemons have a higher stats than the non-legendary Pokemons. But we see here that these are all alternative versions. So let's see that if this model can this agentic workflow can give you only base versions, like do this same comparison, but using only base versions instead. Can you please, or let's, these seem to be mostly but alternative versions of the base Pokemon. Can you do this same comparison, but only using the top 5 or using base versions? Let's see if this works or not. Okay. And you see that we have here several models working in place and several things that combine stuff together. And we are not just answering to the user question, but we are providing full context around it. So this question is more the models comprehend better this question and also can provide you not only the answer to your question, but an overall overview and a much more complete answer to your question. Okay, so let's see if this works well or not, and what's the answer from this. And also, depending on the difficulty of the question, it will think longer or shorter, okay, depending on what are the operations that is doing and what type of models it's asking in the backend. Okay, so we see that this is the correct answer. We see from this plot that we only have now base Pokemons, and we have legendary and non-legendary. Okay, and we still see that legendary Pokemons are above in terms of total stats than the non-legendary Pokemons, but we see that the difference is not as different. Okay, it's more nuanced, at least comparing to Slacking. I think that's the correct name. And we see also a table, so we have this exactly same comparison, but with only base versions. But now let's try to understand where is the... So total stats is the sum of all the stats of the Pokemon. So let's try to understand which of these stats are actually relevant. So if we had a similar plot, but now we would have by stat, then maybe that would be interesting. So let's ask, for example, this is great. Great. Can I have a plot like this, but each bar, instead of being total stat, it would be each individual stats. So 6 bars for each Pokemon. I think it's 6. So let's just say 1 bar for each stat, and for each Pokemon. Okay. And please present the legendary Pokemons in a different color gradient than the non-legendary Pokemons. Okay, and notice that this is a quite a difficult task to do. Okay, so we are looking at the table. We are selecting just the first occurrences of the Pokédex number. We are getting the top 5 legendary and the top 5 non-legendary. Okay, now we are plotting each of these individual stats and we are comparing, and we are choosing specific colors for each of these categories. Okay, and we are trying to present a full report around it and a full presentation with also some other context around it. So it's nice and sweet for the user to see and take its own interpretation about the data, okay, and understand the data, okay. And once again, the harder the question is, the longer it thinks, okay. And I think this is although it might be sometimes cumbersome to wait a little bit, but it's also important because you're sure that it provides the best answer it can. And actually, here it is. So we have the base legendary Pokemons, and we have the base non-legendary Pokemons, and we see it with stats. Okay, so we have here the stats defined. Yeah, perfect. I hope you enjoy this. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to demo our product, or if you have your own agentic AI application in your company that you want to create, or any other machine learning project in mind, please contact us here at Lotus Labs and we will create that for you. Also, if you're just looking around trying to learn more machine learning things and AI things in general and software engineering, you should definitely click the like and the subscribe button, because we will keep tutorials coming and more videos in the future about several of these topics. So yeah, see you next time. Bye.